Hi, my name is Elizabeth Cahoon, and I'm the Director for Youth Ministry here at Woods Memorial Presbyterian Church. I hear that you're looking forward into becoming a youth advisor for our youth, and I could not be more thrilled. Follow along with me as we learn just a few things of why it's so important to take care of our youth and to take care of yourself. I'll teach you just some of the ins and outs that we find really important here at Woods in order to protect everybody. So, follow along. Have you ever wondered why a church would put together a child protection policy? Well, here at Woods, we think it's really important that we work to preserve not only this church as a holy and safe place, but a place that we can protect everybody who walks through our doors. And so that way, all people, no matter who you are, can experience the love of God through relationships with other people. This child protection policy that I'm going to train you on is here to not only protect you as an adult, but to protect our minors. Okay, so let's talk about you. What are the things that you need to do in order to be the most amazing and outstanding youth advisor for all of these amazing kids? Well, first thing we're going to do is send you two different forms of screenings. One is a national criminal background check, and the other is a national sex offender registry. So these are going to come to you through an agency called Verified First. You're going to fill out a questionnaire. And after that questionnaire, I'm going to see if there are any red flags or things that we need to talk about further. If you have any questions or things that you're worried about these screenings, just shoot me an email. My email is right here below, and you can contact me, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. You're going to watch our child protection policy training video, and that will help you understand how to better protect yourself and how to better protect our youth. The last thing that you can do is follow our code of conduct throughout the whole year. At the very end of this video, we're going to go through them step by step and see what are the really important ways that you can uphold yourself and treat other people as you are a youth advisor here at Woods. As a person who works with children and youth, it's really important to understand the signals and the signs for a child who's experiencing any form of abuse at home or in the school system. And those can be forms of physical, mental, emotional, sexual, or even spiritual abuse. And I want you to be, as an advisor, aware of these signals, but by no means do I expect you to solve every single problem. This chart will help you understand that the outer ring are going to be those forms of violence that are physical, that are sometimes easier for us to point out and witness because the result of them comes in ways of bruising or wounds or ways of being hurt on their outer part of their body. Now, the different forms of abuse that can happen internally, so we're talking about emotionally or mentally, are ways of isolating the youth or child. Intimidation, using adult privilege, so you're treating a child as though that they are lesser, or extreme forms of punishment, using threats, emotional abuse by putting them down, name calling them, using a child too far as a confidant, or even economic abuse. So I share these with you not to make you the next expert, but to help you understand that there are many ways that our youth can be hurting, and it's one of our responsibilities to help support them and help them find a voice when they feel that they're in trouble. So let's talk about Woods and the things that we do specifically here at this church. The first is going to be a really familiar rule, and it's called the two-adult rule. We require that at least two adults be present at any time when other youth are in the presence of them, and that just helps keep not only the youth safe, but also helps to protect you for if anything were to happen, the other adult can be your witness. Say that you're driving to the bowling alley and you have two adults for the event, which is sufficient of what you need, but you need to have two cars. So the adults who are driving can separate, and therefore, as long as you have three people within one car, you're meeting the child protection policy. So that can be one adult and two children, or two adults and one child, as long as there are three people within the vehicle, you are within the boundaries of our child protection policy. Now, continuing on driving, we have youth who are new drivers out there on the road, and while we are also praying for them to drive safely and make good decisions, I also want to inform you all that if a child youth is driving and has a valid driver's license, they are able to drive within a 10-mile radius of our church. So if you see Woods as a center point, anything that is in a 10-mile radius around the church, they are eligible to be able to drive to those different events. Let's talk about the ratios. These are things that you can easily remember so that when myself or other church staff members aren't around, you can make sure that you're within the right ratio with youth and adults in the room. So easy things to remember when you're on campus, so that's here in the church building or outside on a beautiful sunny day like today. What you need to do is make sure that for every 10 kids that we have here with us, make sure there's one adult. So if you have 20 kids, 2 adults, and so on. Now, if you go off campus, so if you go to one of our favorite camping sites, for every 6 children, you need to have 1 adult. So that ratio tightens. And then when we go for overnight trips, the ratio technically is still 1 to 6, so 1 adult for every 6 kids. But I personally, and as the child protection policy states, we recommend a 1 to 4 ratio. Something that I strive to have of major importance here at Woods is that our youth are always confident and comfortable in the environment that we have them here in. So one way to do that is to provide a equal gender balance. So when you have youth at an on-campus or even off-campus event, but it's just during the day, I like to make sure that we always have a male and a female representative. However, when you start going to an overnight event, it's required to have both a male and female representative as youth advisors on that trip. So sticking to the theme of overnight trips, when we are sleeping in one giant room, there's a female side and a male side of the rooms, and we stick to that, and adults must stay within the same gender as the youth. And we do that in order to promote safety and healthy boundaries the youth can model. When youth are using restrooms, we ask that adults wait until all youth have left the restroom in order to use it. We ask that parents put in a baggie labeled nicely with the dosage and timing of when the medications need to be taken, and the nurse will hold on to that in a locked box for the entirety of the trip. And that's just to continue to help protect our youth from any accidental dosages or overdosing that might happen while we're with them. All right, so let's move on to a whole new topic of reporting and responding. I ask that any of our advisors, if you are made aware of a situation that's happening at home or something that has happened on a trip that we're at, come find me immediately. And if I'm not present on the trip, whoever is the next person in charge at the event. From there, we will report to the officials who are needed and necessary, and then let our pastors here back at home know what's going on. If as an adult you are on a trip or working with youth in a small group, and you feel that there is a situation happening at home that you're concerned about, instead of investigating yourself, I ask you come find me, come find one of the pastors here at the church, and we will walk down that journey with you. Share with us the things that you're concerned about, the symptoms, the signals, and we can help you decipher what kind of next steps we need to take. What I encourage you not to do is to ever step out on a limb by yourself. You can get yourself into a really sticky situation, and it's really important that you have the church's backing on anything and any steps that you take. So always use me as your confidant, and I will be there with you, and I'll support you so that we can help protect and provide a better world for our youth. Now, on a different note, if on a trip there is an allegation against one of our adults doing something inappropriate or illegal with a youth, unfortunately, this happens. I am proud to say that at Woods we have not had this since I've been here, but it is best to be prepared rather than to react. So to be prepared, if something were to happen on a trip with one of our advisors and a youth, we would separate the 2 individuals, investigate quickly, send the adult home, and the youth parents would be contacted, and then the youth would have the choice of being with their parents, going home, or continuing on the trip. If police, first response, anything is necessary, we would follow the procedure as followed. At Woods, one of my favorite things about working here is knowing that we are creating a ministry of belonging. And I want to help you understand what that means. So, as a mentor and example to our young people, through word and action, I promise that I will help facilitate a safe environment where all of God's people, regardless of gender, sexuality, sexual orientation, ethnicity, ability, faith, expression, or family background, are welcomed and equipped to know and receive the love of God, while also being invited to share their gifts and their experiences within the ministry and greater church. It's our job that, representing the love and grace of Jesus Christ, I will recognize the dignity of each person and refrain from behaviors or words that are disrespectful of anyone or any group. I will love and care for all young people without regard to gender, sexuality, sexual orientation, ethnicity, ability, faith, expression, or family background, race, socioeconomic status, immigration status, language, or political beliefs. Knowing that our young people have differing beliefs and opinions about significant theological issues present in the church today, I will listen to and support them without judgment as they share a specific and unique voice within the church. Friends, I ask you to hold tight to that definition of a ministry belonging, because it will help you make a greater impact on the life of these youth so that they can continue forming lifelong discipleship with Christ. All right, we are nearing the end, my friends, and as we close today, I ask that you follow along as I read our code of conduct. Number 1, I will not verbally, emotionally, physically, or sexually abuse children. 2, I will not discipline children by use of physical punishment or by failing to provide the necessities of care. 3, I may use physical restraint only when necessary to protect the child or others from harm. 4, I will provide proper supervision and exercise sound judgment in providing a safe environment at all times. 5, I will avoid situations during Woods sponsored programs where they would be alone with a single child and cannot be observed or monitored by others. As adults supervise children, they should space themselves in a way that other adults can see them. 6, are expected to observe the two-adult policy in their interaction with children and youth at all times, except in emergency situations where impossible to do so. 7, will provide restroom supervision by always using proper supervision when children are using public restrooms to ensure their safety. Make sure suspicious or unknown individuals are not occupying the restroom before allowing children to use the facilities. Send children in pairs whenever possible, with at least 2 Woods employees and/or volunteers. For young children, stand in the doorway while children are using the restroom in visual sight of another adult. And when assisting younger children, doors to the facility must remain open. I'll respect the rights of children and youth not to be touched in ways that make them feel uncomfortable, and their right to say no. 9, I will be alert to the physical and emotional state of children entering the program. Any signs of injury or possible child abuse must be reported to the Associate Pastor of Family Life or the Associate Pastor for Youth and their families, who will then report to the head of staff or the Director of Administration for Woods. 9, I will be alert to the physical and emotional state of children entering the program. Any signs of injury or possible child abuse must be reported to the Director of Youth Ministry, who will then report to the head of staff for Woods Church. I will release children only to authorized parents, guardians, or other individual authorized by the parent or guardian. 11, I will not share inappropriate details of their personal life or ask children to share inappropriate details through any form of communication, written, verbal, or electronic. 12, I might not date program participants at any time. 13, We are not allowed to give gifts to individual children or youth without the knowledge and permission of their parents. 14. We are required to read, sign, and adhere to all policies related to identifying, documenting, and reporting child abuse and attend training sessions on that subject. And lastly, we are required to report to head of staff, the director of youth ministry, and the director of children's ministry any circumstances that under this policy affect their ability to work with children and youth. Friends, I thank you for following along with me, and remember, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me below. Here's my email again, and I will be happy to answer. Now at this point, I ask you to sign the child protection policy and email me back a copy so that I can keep it in our files. Have a wonderful and beautiful day, and remember that you are an inspiration to forming and empowering lifelong discipleship with Christ. Have a great day. Bye.